This is the TCL TAB A1 Plus. It's a 12.2-inch tablet with a 2.4K display, 120Hz, full metal body, Android 16 with Gemini built in, $249. That's a sentence that shouldn't exist. So we spent some time finding where the corners got cut to make such an affordable device that has so many good features built in. Special thanks to TCL for sponsoring this video and for sending out this unit for review. Links will be in the description if you want to check yours out. Now let's get into it. So, as always, big picture, why should you care? So this is TCL's pitch at the ultimate sort of big picture, multimedia, content consumption, multitasking machine. And it's worth pausing for a second on who's making this. It's TCL. They've been innovating on display technology for over 30 years in TV, projectors, tablets, phones. They're the world's #2 TV brand by shipment counts. And that sort of research carries into their tablet line as well. This thing has a massive screen and a full metal body and a price tag that, depending on when you catch it, drops well into that impulse buy category. Now, I'm not here to tell you that this is like a flagship killer by any means. I mean, it's a budget tablet device, but I do think it punches well above that bracket. And you have to actively look to where this falls short. Now let's dive into the form, which is honestly one of my favorite parts. And I think honestly, they sort of nailed this here. The full metal body is just so nice and premium. It just adds to that feeling when you're holding it. Now you can get a case for this, a keyboard case. We'll talk about those features here in a minute. But ultimately, like, holding this just feels really nice. The bezels are totally manageable. Of course, I love that they're the same sort of width all the way around. It's 6.7 millimeters thin, 542 grams, which is just over a pound. And for a 12-inch tablet, that's pretty slim. It's also IP54 rated for dust and splashes, which is a nice comfort. And it means you don't have to baby it when you like have it out while having a meal with, you know, business partners or family or whatever. At a coffee shop, taking it to the park with your kids. Now, the screen itself is the headline here. I mean, it's a 12.2-inch display and 2.4K resolution with 120Hz refresh. And it has TCL's Next Vision display color tuning, which makes for just really vibrant, accurate, beautiful colors that bounce off this tablet. 100% sRGB up to 550 nits, and as a lot of other TCL tablets and displays have, it has TÜV Rheinland certification, which means it has been adjusted and adapted here to have low blue light for those late night sessions when you want more of a warm tone, which helps with your brain chemistry. I won't get into all of that, but TÜV Rheinland is a big certification for things like that, and this carries that as well. Now, an interesting part that I haven't heard a lot of people talk about is the 3:2 aspect ratio. Most budget Android tablets are 16:10, which is, you know, fine for movies, but kind of terrible for everything else. 3:2 gives you much more vertical real estate for viewing documents or doing side-by-side productivity work. The split screen setup here isn't cramped. It feels very natural, and it feels like there's enough room for all of the content you want to display while doing that sort of dual purpose work. We ran a couple apps side by side, and it just felt like a good amount of space and laid out in a way that makes a lot of sense. So that 3:2 aspect ratio is kind of perfect for this sort of device. All right, let's talk about the function, what it's like to actually use this and live with it. There's a lot of features here that TCL is pushing, and I'd love to talk about them. First is the 120Hz refresh rate. That's huge. I mean, most budget things, even iPad mini doesn't have that yet. So having it included here is just nice. It makes for buttery smooth scrolling through websites and social media and watching videos and even just flying through the UI here. And you usually, like with budget devices like this, you have to choose between like high refresh rate or high quality screen, and TCL gave you both here. Now, what's great, and a lot of you will probably love, is there's actually a micro SD slot right here. I don't know if you can see that. So that can be, you know, expand your storage up to 2 terabytes, which is wild. You can put a ton of movies on here for plane trips, whatever it might be. You know, a lot of tablets charge you a ton of money just to bump up your internal storage, and the fact that there is a place here to expand that yourself is just a nice feature to have. And for actual utility here, that's a huge win. All right, let's talk about AI and software here. TCL is really leaning into AI with this device. I mean, even on the camera bump here at the back, it says AI camera. It ships with Android 16 with Google Gemini built in natively, overlay live extensions alongside Circle to Search, Writing Assist, Text Assist, and Smart Translator. all built in to the device out of the box. Getting that full AI toolkit at this price point genuinely adds utility I didn't expect to use, but with everything moving towards AI nowadays, having it just out of the box built in is a huge win. There's even some tools that like I use daily on my computer that I was like, oh, it's already here on the device. You know, I don't have to go looking for different apps and things. There's just a lot built in. Now, a couple other software features worth your attention is extend mode and mirror mode, which lets this act as like a wireless secondary display for your main computer, which is great for creativity or video editing where you want maybe the live feed of your video here and your tools on your other screen. I mean, you name it, you've probably had dual monitors before if you're watching this video, maybe not. And if you haven't, it's life-changing. So this can act as a secondary monitor for you. And that's sort of a serious value add. It adds a whole nother aspect to this device. TCL also includes Magic Hub, sidebar, split screen, and floating windows. And if you snap it into the smart keyboard case, it shifts the whole UI to a more desktop type feel. This just does a lot. I think I just keep coming back to that, especially at $250. And even cheaper when it's on sale. All right, all of this here is being run by Snapdragon 4 Gen 2. It has 6 gigabytes of RAM built in, which is expandable to up to 16 gigabytes of virtual RAM. I'll be honest with you, it's not a flagship chip here, but it runs everything that you would want to on a device like this really well. It's smooth, snappy, beautiful, split screen productivity, light gaming, video playback. It's just really nice. Now, another cool thing is it has a quad speaker setup here. There's actually 4 speakers that are firing, which really adds to the quality of watching media back on this device. And it gets really loud for the size and the budgetness of the device. It can really fill a room listening to Spotify or watching a video. And for the battery, there's an 8,000 milliamp hour battery in the device. It has float charging tech to prevent, massive battery wear down over long periods of time. And it comfortably gets through a full day with mixed use. It's just a really nice device. So, who's it for? Well, students, young creatives, freelancers, anyone who wants a device to handle media, light work, maybe some gaming on the couch, looking at photos, using AI to discover things and do research, mark up documents. There's another, it can use a pen accessory as well if you want to do some handwritten stuff on here. Anyone who needs that like sort of small but large screen tablet computer that's an AI co-worker that works alongside you, lots of features built into this thing, and you might be working on a budget. Maybe this is even your second tablet for very specific use cases. Full metal build. I mean, it feels premium. It really is in one of those impulse buy categories. Like there's not a lot wrong going on here. And when you look at that price tag, especially if you could find it on sale, it becomes kind of a no-brainer if you're looking for an Android tablet in this sort of space. Now, there will be lots of accessories coming out for this device straight from TCL. Like I mentioned, the keyboard case, the stylus, things like that. But until you're able to grab one of those, I would say really, you can hook up any Bluetooth keyboard to this that you want to. And you still get all of sort of the productivity benefit of using this as sort of a tablet in that way. If you can find a nice case for it, it can really become like a sort of mobile desktop workflow for you. So we're still waiting on some accessories that are first party that will probably work best with this. But that said, coming back to the headline here, 12.2 inch, 120 hertz refresh display, full metal body, Android 16, AI features built right in, IP54 protection, 8,000 milliamp hour battery, all for $249. There are corners that got cut, but they're reasonable. And again, I think this punches well above its weight class. Big screen, value choice. Their slogan's a bit on the nose, but I think they've earned it here. Again, special thanks to TCL for sponsoring today's video. Links will be in the description down below. Thanks so much for watching. On this channel, we talk about tech that marries form and function. We like tech that improves our lives and looks good while doing so. So if that sounds cool to you and you're new here, please consider subscribing. Like this video for more like it. Hype it up if you would. Watch that video next. I think you're gonna love it. And we'll see you all in the next one.